Hey guys, I just want to give you my quick thoughts on the new SteelSeries Rival optical mouse I just picked up last week. So, I'm not going to get into all the specs. You can call me a lazy reviewer. It's not really a review anyway. I just feel you could probably go online and look at that yourself. And really, you're probably just going to want to go to your local computer store and at least get your hands on it to see if it's even worth it for you in terms of comfort and how it feels. I will reference though that it uses a Pixart 3310 optical sensor. From what I've read, this is a new sensor to the market, and so far, first off, I just want to get out of the way. I am a mouse whore. I have a plethora of mice. So I'm comparing this to a Logitech G9X, a Logitech G400, a Logitech G500, the Razer Death Adder 3.5G, Rocat Savu, Rocat Cone Pure Optical, and I think that's about it. But anyway, here are the pluses that I like about this mouse. One, I like the fact that it almost took the design from the Microsoft Intelli 3.0 mouse in terms of how long the mouse is, and it kind of mixed it with the Rocat in terms of the indentation where your thumb goes on the left-hand side. It's not quite as extreme as the Rocat, but I still really appreciated it, as that was one aspect of the Rocat I really did enjoy. The other nice thing that I liked about this mouse was the rubberized sides. Now, I never owned the new Death Adder, from what I've heard, the new Death Adder has added textured sides, just like this Rival. So maybe they fixed that problem for me. But the one knock I've always had on the Death Adder prior was I was never confident enough to pick the mouse up off the mouse pad, as I like to game with a very low DPI to keep my accuracy as good as it can be. So with the Death Adder there, anytime I would try to pick it up, the sides were just so slick. I just wasn't confident enough when I did it. And it's too bad because I did like the sensor in that. However, this optical sensor compared to all the other optical sensors I've had, this by far is the best. Oh, I screwed this up already, but that's okay. I'm just going to do this on one take, but I also own the SteelSeries Sensi and the Ikari laser mouse. That's the one thing I'd like to get to too before I close out here. Laser mice and optical mice. Now, I have always gamed on a PC, but I've had been a console gamer at heart up until about 2009 or the release of Left 4 Dead 2. I always thought that laser mice were the better mice because on paper they look more impressive. But from further research that I've gathered and from what I have seen online, optical mice seem to be the way to go if you're trying to stay or keep as accurate as possible. Now, I do know that some pro gamers do use laser mice, as they can probably get away with it because they're so good at whatever games that they're playing already. But a lot of the features or a lot of the offerings of a laser mice seem pretty impractical to me. I would never think to play or game at 6,000 DPI. That is not a concern for me, as it feels way too fast, even with the game sensitivity turned down. Again, this is still just personal preference, but I think you could probably ask most people out there that are looking to be very accurate in first-person shooters. You're probably going to find that the majority of them play on lower DPIs, as it just feels and seems to be more accurate. Again, with a lower DPI coupled with the optics of this mouse, I was definitely thoroughly impressed. This mouse definitely feels when I aim at something or I feel like whatever I'm aiming at on the screen, it's right there. This is probably the best performing optical mouse I have used to date. I did like the Rocat Cone Pure, but I could see the knock on it. A lot of people are probably not going to like it because the fact that it's so light and it is a very compact mouse. Now, I have little bitchy hands, so I did appreciate that. And that was my one kind of concern picking up this SteelSeries Rival. From the reviews that I saw, everybody was kind of describing it as almost being a tank. Now, it is definitely heavier than the Rocat, and the Rocat, mind you, was only 90 grams. I'm not exactly sure. Again, I'm lazy. I should have had this information up here, but I believe this is about 110 gram, maybe a little bit more weighted mouse. But honestly, in my hand, because it fits so well, and again, I use a palm style type of a grip. I'm not really a claw gripper, as my job requires me to use my hands a lot, so they cramp up pretty easy. So claw gripping for me is not the way to go. So with that said, this is a perfect design for palming the mouse. It's about just as long as an Intelli 3, and has that same comfort and feel, which I do really like a lot. And again, coupled with the fact that they've used rubberized texture on the side, I feel very confident picking this mouse up off the mouse pad and gliding it. The one knock I probably would have against this mouse, which I think a lot of reviewers online would probably agree, is the cord or the cable. Now, not to say that it's bad, it's a cable, but I think the issue here is the type of texture that they're using. The rubber is a tacky, sticky type of a feel, and I could see it getting snagged or stuck on either your mouse pad, or if you're weaving your mouse cord from maybe your PC, if it's on the bottom of your desk and you're bringing it up, as that's the way that mine is set up. I have one of those desks where it holds your PC in the bottom right hand corner of it, so I have to route the cable up and through. Now, I don't really have an issue with this though, because I use a mouse bungee. I have a Cooler Master mouse bungee, so this is not an issue for me. But I felt it was definitely worth noting, as if somebody does not have a mouse bungee, this could be an issue for them. Overall, though, I'm definitely happy with this purchase of this mouse. This is probably going to be the keeper for me, as I'm probably going to use this as my day-to-day and for my gaming mouse. Even with all those other mice that I do have, I would have to say that this is probably the best performer to date. I just feel very confident with this mouse. It feels like an extension of my arm, and that's the type of a mouse that I'm looking for while I'm gaming. Thanks for listening.